Hello and welcome to Living in the Light, Part 2. No, not Part 2, the Do-Over. Actually, I did the video at 5 like I always promised to do, but then I didn't like it. So I deleted it and decided I had to do it over. It was hard because there's so much I have to say, and I want to say it in a way that it will be heard. You know, we've talked before about the importance of living in the light, being the light, and that is what we're here to do. But sometimes that's not the easiest thing in the world to do, especially for the past number of years, as things have gotten more and more challenging. I always want to be bright and funny, and that you will want to tune in so you can see what kind of funny or helpful or inspiring thing I had to say today, that day, whenever. Well, today, in order for us to get to the light side, I'm going to need to ask your indulgence to follow me on a walk through the dark side. It's actually, we can think we're going into a new area, but we're not. We've been living here for quite some time. So if I can ask your indulgence, and please try not to bail on me as we go through this, because I do believe what I have to share is important for you to hear. I'm going to begin with an actual news story. You may have heard it today. You may not have heard it today, but it is on just about every news station. So if you haven't heard it, I think it's time to take a look at, are you being aware of what we need to be aware of on a day-to-day basis? You know, you shouldn't be so involved in the news that you can't get out of it. You shouldn't be overly absorbed by it. But what we do need to do is to be aware. We need to know what's going on. You know, we can't be walking around like the kids with all the, you know, doing the texting on the phone and walking into traffic or walking into the walls or something. So please be aware with me, and if you haven't heard this yet, you better sit down because it's kind of strange. Today, in Dallas, Texas, about 1,000 people gathered. They gathered very near where JFK was killed. And they gathered for a very special event. The special event was that John F. Kennedy Jr. was supposed to appear. If you remember, he died in a plane crash back in the 1999 or something like that. But in their story, he was in hiding. He was going to emerge today at 12:29 this afternoon, and he was going to announce his support for Donald Trump and that he would be his running mate in 2024. 1,000 people or more were there. One man had a flag that he bought somewhere, and it was like about a 4-foot by 6-foot flag, maybe even bigger. He was waving it, blue flag, Trump Kennedy 24. You know, the first thing, you want to laugh because it seems so funny. But there were 30,000 people there that had bought into this conspiracy theory. And if we recall, according to this particular group of people that are called the followers of QAnon, that Democrats, and particularly a lot of movie stars and politicians, are actually lizards, I think, that put on people's skin and eat babies. I'm not kidding you. This is one of their main beliefs. They believe the election was stolen, that at least, you could understand someone thinking like that, but someone thinking someone was going to come back from the dead. Well, he wasn't. They say he wasn't really dead. He was in hiding since 1999, and he was coming out now. Is it possible? I imagine on some fathomable scale. But the thing is, the people believe this without question. Without question. Now, it's not just the 1,000 people that were there. It's all the people that couldn't make it there. Maybe they didn't have the money. Maybe they had to go to work. Who knows what they had to do. But they believe it. And what I find really difficult to deal with is the amount of manipulation that is being allowed to happen to such huge numbers of people. And it asks us, where are we going? Because to me, and as many of you know that have read my books and have heard me speak a lot, that we are in an actual battle of consciousness. And the battle of consciousness is between the light, which is enlightenment, and the darkness, which is ignorance. And that's what living in the light is about. Living in the light is about living an enlightened life, a life of inspiration, sensing, intuitive. That's what living in the light is about. Living in the darkness is living in a world of error thought. All of us are to some degree at some time impacted by error thought. Why? Well, if you're not, then you're doing okay. You better come on and make yourself some YouTube videos and enlighten us here. But we are. I have found the recent weeks quite unsettling. I found the whole Stop the Steal thing very unsettling, because over and over it was proven and proven and proven and proven and proven that there was no stealing, that it happened. As a matter of fact, that Biden wound up with more votes. Do I think he's perfect? No. Has he made mistakes, or is he doing things? First of all, I really don't know what the job entails. I've never had it. I do know sometimes that there's a degree of silence that is to be kept when you'd be better off spewing it out, You think you'd be better off. The human part would think they were better off. But what I am challenged very much about here today is blind ignorance. And then the next step that's worse. Ignorance is just you didn't know. So that's what I'm here for, to give you that little headbit. There's a lot of craziness going on in this world. So that's ignorance. You didn't know. But you have the ability to know. Therefore, I'm calling you to come up higher and to become aware. Don't bathe yourself in the news and steep in it all day. Rather, know what's going on, and if something seems strange, for God's sake, check it out. Then there is ignorant. Ignorant means you know it, but you don't want to deal with it. You don't pay attention to it. And the next step so you've got ignorance, you didn't know, ignorance, you know but you don't care, and then you've got stupidity. Don't know, don't care. When we're in that realm, we take what we want to believe whatever our fantasy is, and we make it real. We are living in a time where this organization and many others are in a cult. It is a cult. Look up cults a little bit, and so you go, well, what do we do now? I mean, there's the climate deniers. There are the people who are so blatantly ignorant and cling to their ignorant opinions. Big difference between opinions and facts, okay? It bothers me very much that in today's world we have a very strong absence of common sense and critical thinking. So if I were to hear that JFK Jr. was going to come back and show up in Dallas before I bought a ticket to see this miraculous event, I think I would look. If they said he was in hiding for X number of years, do a little research. How do you know he's dead? How do you know he's not in hiding? Question it. Because what troubles me more than anything right now is people's minds being manipulated. And to be so vulnerable. And one of the things they've attributed this to very greatly, they say that what's making a big impact on this is people that have been alone for a long time during COVID, couldn't move about as they wished, built up a lot of loneliness, and then who was their friend? The computer. But to have someone, this Q person, to have that person manipulating minds, causing death, causing stress, causing problems, I find that quite challenging in my human part. And I am very human. I'll just let you know right now, I am very human. But I am also spiritually awakened. I am aware, and chances are, if you've stuck with me this long, you are aware as well. You are what they call and what they hate woke. You're woke. I'm woke. Woke means to be aware. Of course, someone who's going to manipulate your mind does not want you to be woke. They don't want you to be aware. They don't want you to question. Now, I would be pretty willing to bet that every one of us out there knows someone who has bought into the conspiracy theories. It has broken up marriages. It has broken up families. It has separated friends. It has separated our political parties. Our political parties are supposed to be like two wings of a bird. We need conservative, we need liberal, but we need them to be working together. If you need to know one thing, that is what united we stand means. It means we are standing. We may not agree with each other, but we're standing up for and with each other. And we need to find the ways to make that happen if we want to create a world of peace and harmony. So there's a lot of things to be, challenged. We've got, I don't even have to go over it. I've gone over it 100 times. There's climate change, there's war, you see a picture of North Korea with like 80,000, whatever the hell they are, rockets. Sorry, bad word alert. Beep. Too late, it's already happened. But we see these things, missiles, that's what they are, they're missiles. And we see these things and we are, that's frightening. But if we keep churning on these thoughts, if we keep focusing on our fears and our doubts and what we see going on around us, we will not be able to lighten up. In order to lighten up, we are aware, we know it's happening, We spend time in prayer and meditation. We lift ourselves up and remind ourselves, one of my favorite affirmations, there is one presence and one power in the universe and in our lives, God the good, omnipotent. And that's what I hold to. And I try to find ways. One of the reasons I'm on Facebook, a lot of people have abandoned Facebook. They say, there's too much bad on there. There's too much, misinformation, disinformation, conspiracy theories, too much division, too much divisive stuff, too many evil memes. Well, yeah, but I chose to be here. I chose to be here to speak my truth and hopefully inspire someone and help them out when they are feeling down, when they are feeling discouraged, when they are feeling overwhelmed. This is overwhelming because you can't cut a break. What there used to be a song. I think it was a country song, very typical of this. If it weren't for bad news, there'd be no news at all. Boy, I wonder how the composer of that song would think about today, hey? Here's the good news. The good news is we do have the power to choose. Please do not be ignorant. Do not be ignorant. And for God's sake, don't be stupid. We are here to be together, to be co-creators with God of a wonderful world. In the coming days, I will share more about the powers we have and how to use them. But for right now, I just, I don't want to keep going that deep. I think it's enough for us to realize, those of you who are familiar with my book, Rise of the False Gods, where I talked about the four quadrants of consciousness. The upper ones are intuitive sensing. The lower ones are human thinking and human emotion. Remember, the word emotion means energy in motion. So it's stuff that is stimulated by our thoughts that runs through us and causes distress and stress, fight or flight. Now, if you don't know, how would you know if you were supposed to do fight, flight, or stand your ground? Huh? How do you know? Common sense and critical thinking. Two things that are pretty rare. So, what can you do? Well, of course you can pray about it. Of course you can work on staying positive. But don't just pray. Pray and move your feet. We are powerful agents of change in the world. We can make that change for better or worse. We cannot ignore. Well, we can ignore if we want what's going on, but what you don't acknowledge, you can't change. So if you don't know what's going on and you say, you know what, I'm just going to turn off the news, it's too much. I know many people like that. But if you do that, are you going to be a part of a part of the solution or a part of the problem? Which do you choose? You want to be a part of the solution? You want to be a part of the problem? That's up to you. You know what? No, I was trying to finish up. I worry about my time so much that I will talk too much and you'll get bored and turn me off. Anyway, I want to pick it up a little bit in the light, okay? So, yeah, we talked about going through the dark, and we are. We cannot deny that we are going through dark times, because we are. To go through a dark time does not deny the truth that God really is in charge, and all God's waiting on is for us to get woke. And then there's that word cancel culture. Yes, we have to cancel the things that are sucking our energy. Wouldn't you know, on the National Day calendar today is National Stress Awareness Day. So if you're feeling stress about the outcome of the elections, about the insanity of people showing up in Dallas waiting for John F. Kennedy Jr. to come sashaying out from the dead or his hiding place or whatever like that. Okay? If those things are stressing you out, you're aware of them. Okay? And now you can find your peace and get into the light. We have to be the light. We're like a little flashlight, you know? We put our flashlight on and we go into the dark corners and we look all around and see what's there. But we bring the light. Please stay sane. Don't get sucked into this stuff. And if your friends or your family members are, when it is time, Spirit will awaken them. That's my mantra. Not by might nor by power, but my Spirit, saith the Lord. The Spirit is the essence and nature, and it's the same essence and nature that's in all of us. So when you are troubled, you must address your stress. If you do not, you will remain stressed, and chances are you will die. Seriously, stress is a killer. Most of us are not even aware of our own stress. But let me tell you, whether you're aware of it or you're not, how to help you deal with it. You deal with it very simply. Eat right. Sleep. Get healthy sleep. Exercise. Fill your mind with positive things. Read good books. Learn enough about what's going on in the world and use your critical thinking and your common sense. Who'd ever thought common sense would have become so uncommon, right? What else did I want to tell you? Oh, it's also National Sandwich Day in 1718. John Montague, I believe, the Earl of Sandwich, was playing cards. He didn't want to stop, so he called his servant over. He says, I'm hungry. Why don't you throw some of that meat in between a couple pieces of bread and bring it over to me? Can you imagine 300 years ago there were no sandwiches? However did people live? And it is also, let's see, Housewives' Day. That's another whole story that I would love to go more deeply into, but we really want to love and respect and honor the people that keep the home fires burning, the people that are there. You know, I was talking to a friend of mine the other day about when we were in school and we'd come home from school and walk into the house and smell the food my mom was cooking. And, well, they smelled the food their mom was cooking. Not everybody came back to my house to eat, you know, it just happened that way. So, a lot of people that choose to be homemakers, and I always used to point out, homemaker does not mean housekeeper, okay? Real seriously. A home is not a happy home because it's spotless. A home is usually a happy home because it's a little cluttered, maybe a little dusty, because we're too busy being a family to worry about all that stuff, you know. So, anyway, so let us, whether they're moms or dads or whatever, those who choose full-time domestic engineering is their profession, we salute them. That's all I have time for today, but I want to also remind you that in the Bible it says that you are the light of the world. Let your light shine so that others will see the good that you do and they'll give glory to God. God is all that is good. So they'll just see your goodness and they'll say, I want some of that. And they will want to emulate you. You are the light of the world. You are not saying, if you say, I am the light of the world, well, what are you doing about it? Are you behaving like the light of the world? Right? Okay, on that note, I'm going to let you go, and I thank you for being with me today, and I hope you will be with me tomorrow. I hope our journey through the dark side was not that long, but I want to remind you, you have the light within you. It's there, and we'll all be better when we learn to lighten up and love each other. Bye.